Just before I get into this video, I just want to say I've not been able to post videos the past couple of days because I've not been quite so well. Not Rona, just not well. So on Monday, the 31st of January, Mike and I are going to be doing a live Q&A discussing our plans for the future, discussing our plans for the channel. We're going to have a giveaway, we're going to have an exciting business announcement, and we're going to be answering some general questions and some things that you might want to know about us. But if there's anything specific that you want to know, let us know down in the comments below. And without further ado, let's get into the video. Hi everyone, I'm Kieran and this is Mike and welcome back to our channel. In today's video we are off to the biggest house clearance place again. We went last weekend and if you haven't seen that video I'll include a link up above, and we've been waiting all week to go back, so let's go see what we can find. I was feeling a little bit mardy, so I had to grab a brew before we started. But as we were waiting I could see people leaving with stuff and I was getting anxious that they were buying all of the good things. This place is a true mix, it even has the bathroom sink. Probably the one chair that I would have been interested in this new place. Turnover in this place is crazy. Last week I saw all these vintage fans on here, and this week it's full of microwaves and lamps. I did like this white lamp, I just thought that the shape was so classic and sleek and it just needed a good clean. The furniture section wasn't really doing it for me, but it did bring back some memories. Those IKEA wardrobes on the left hand side, I could build without even looking at the instructions because my mum bought so many of them. What would you do with it though?
We'd have to swap the top out.
Is it scales? Do you reckon it's an old scale unit? We've quickly learned that the marked up bric-a-brac section isn't really where the stuff we likes to live, but we did find this scythe which Mike was doing his best Grim Reaper impression with. Also, you know I made a scratch built toy the other week? Well, someone's already beat me to building a castle. I feel like really precious over my trolley. They do have a good selection of vintage clothing, but it is quite highly priced and it's not something that I really know a lot about. However, I am always drawn to the sequin numbers. And again, more of that stuff on the shelves. That does seem to be a little bit highly priced, and on my last video a lot of you agreed with me on that. Although I did love this jar until it was ruined by that horrible bread sign. This is where I like to hang out most, it's the random boxes of junk. This is where I think my creativity really comes out and it lets me just really indulge in all those raw materials that I could maybe upcycle into something fantastic. I liked this platter, but it just wasn't old. And we did spot another one of these little bookcases that I upcycled recently. This one was double the price of mine, I paid £5 and this one was 10, but you could definitely do the same effect with it. Okay, so this is my haul of all of the things that I've bought. This is the biggest ever haul that I've had from one single place, and also possibly the cheapest haul that I've ever had as well. So I spent £40 in total, and really ever since we found the place last weekend, Mike and I have been really wanting to go back and looking forward to going back, so I can totally understand how thrifting becomes so addictive. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, last weekend Mike and I found quite possibly the biggest house clearance place in the UK, a big centre for thrifting and finding second-hand goods, and we went along to that. So if you haven't seen that video, I'll include a link up above. Now, since last weekend, I have had dreams about that table that I saw that I didn't pick up. It was £18, and at the time it felt like a huge expense, £18 for a table I didn't really need. But then when I got home, I found 10 places where that table could go. So we went back, we picked the table up, £18, bought it home, and we've already popped it in place. It was previously a tea trolley, so we whipped off those wheels and the side panels, and it looks like a really high-end antique now. It did have a little bit of woodworm on it, which is usually a no-go for me, but we're going to just keep an eye on that, and if it needs it, we'll add some treatment to it. So that was £18, so that was a huge chunk of the £40 spend. So everything else cost me £22 across the board. So let's go through what I got. Okay, so first of all, I picked up another one of these paintbrushes. This is just an old vintage flat paintbrush, and it's still in really good condition. I could still use it if I wanted to, but I'm just going to use it for display. Then I picked up these 3 picture frames. They have horrible pictures in them. The frames are okay, but can you guess what I'm going to do with them? I'm going to upcycle them into religious art, and if you haven't seen that video, I'll include a link up above to that one. And I'm going to sell these at my vintage market. So I got 3 of these and 2 more. Those other ones are not vintage, so they will need spraying and lacquering to make them look older than they are. But these 2 frames are actually vintage. The picture in this one is... it's okay. I wouldn't have it in the house, but it's okay. I might do something else with that. And then this one is just a vintage frame. The pictures sort of fell to one side. And Mike and I always joke, but we have never found like the deeds to somebody's multi-million-pound mansion in the back of one of these. Let me know if you've ever found anything quite valuable that was unexpected in one of your finds. I did once find a silver bracelet in an old chair that I bought. It was worth £7. Not the greatest. Where should we go next? So, next I picked up this. If you recognise these are old sweet jars. I really like this one. They had a couple of them, but I just didn't pick them up, and I really should have done. It was silly of me. I like the lid on this one because it's this burgundy colour. And again, I'm going to put a chemist's label on the front of it, and if you haven't seen that video, I'll include a link up above to it. And then this again will go to the vintage market with me. Between those 2 sets of things, the frames and this, I've probably made back my £40 in stuff that I will sell, so everything else is just a bonus really. Next, again, another little sweet jar. This, I'm not sure if it was ever really supposed to go together, but because there's so many boxes there, you can quite easily build up these apothecary looking jars. And again, this will get a label on it. Again, it will be a couple of pounds, £5, something like that at the vintage fair, and I'm sure it'll sell no problem. And you know, again, these types of things, I'll just have a table of them with loads of different bottles and labels on, and I'm sure they'll just be taken away as little take-home things from the day, because that's one of the things I noticed about the antiques fair when I went. And again, if you haven't seen that video, there's a link up above. But basically there was so much there, but it was all at that higher price point, so anyone who was just coming for a day out didn't have anything cheap they could buy. So I'm really keen to have stuff all the way through the price ranges to make sure that people can just pick something up like this and take it home. Next, these again were in that same glass box, and they were just sort of thrown in there. I only spotted 2 and then Mike found a 3rd one, and they are these antique glass handles. These are very expensive to find, and I'll be listing these on eBay, and again they'll probably pay for quite a bit of this haul. Parcel delivery. So these are very hard to get hold of, very expensive. Presumably the piece of furniture got trashed and these were saved. So these I will be looking to list on eBay at some point. Alternatively, if I don't list them on eBay, I will be making them into apothecary drawers, and again I'll include a link up above. Next is this little truck. I was going to put this back because I thought I didn't really know how much it was all going to start coming to, but I just kept hold of it anyway. And the idea on this is I'm actually seeing these turned into lamps. So they have a little piece on here, mine's missing, I'll have to find something else. But you convert them into lamps and then it's just a super fun little quirky lamp. And you know, again, something at the vintage market, 15, 20 pounds, something like that. Quick 10-minute craft. And yeah, it's something fun to sell on the stall. I basically walked in there and I said to Mike, I'm buying whatever I like and whatever I see and whatever I want to buy, I'm going to buy it. And this is just one of those things. It's just a circus paint box. It has all the old paints in it. They're all a bit crusty, so I'll whip those out and then I'll just use it as a fun little storage box. Here we have a picture. This was on the side. Again, I just liked it. I liked the lines on it. It's got that sort of subdued sort of colours have been all faded, and it just looks that vintage thing now, so it'd be great on a piece of furniture just on the side, that type of thing. It might go up on a chest of drawers over there that I've got, and I just really liked it. And again, I thought it's probably one of those types of things that they'll just end up throwing in, or it'll be £1. It won't be very expensive. I was going to put it back, but I thought I'd just keep hold of it, and I'm sure I can come up with some use for it. I'm saving this side because this is my favourite side, so I'll come back to that in a sec. Mike picked up a couple of things. So Mike's a gardener, if you didn't know. He picked up this, which he calls a chicken scratcher, which he uses to sort of agitate the soil or something. There was that. He also bought some of this old weed killer, so we picked up that. Last year I bought some gold baubles, very inexpensively from Asda for £1 for about 20. This year they didn't have them. Every other set of baubles I found was so expensive, so I picked up these ones. 2 sets of them. These 2 are broken, the rest are fine, so there's probably, I don't know, 18 or something in those. And again, I think she threw them in for free, so whatever. A couple of other little tools I picked up. I picked up this set of scissors, old vintage set of scissors. I have an idea for these. I've used these previously in a DIY, so I'll either recreate that, or I've actually seen these framed, so 20 or 30 of these in a box frame, and they just looked super awesome, great for like a hairdresser or something like that as a piece of funky art. So I might start a collection of these. Next, in the little tool sections, I picked up this, which is an awl. If you haven't seen these are great for marking on where you're going to put your handles onto a piece of furniture, or for getting your screw started. So if you're going to put a screw in a piece of furniture, what you can normally do is stab this and then put your screw in the hole or the indent that's made, and it makes that go in a lot easier. They're about £2 or £3 new from Screwfix, but again, this was probably thrown in for free. Next, I have these 2 big boxes. So again, this one, do you recognise these? This is a vintage like CD tape. Is it tape? This CD or this? Oh, it's for videos. Right, okay. So this is for video, VHS cassettes. I would have loved this when I was a kid to organise all my my tapes. But it was £3, and the reason I bought it is because I like to put the faux drawer fronts on. and make this into like a library drawer catalogue. And when I'm there next, I will look out for some hairpin legs or some vintage legs or something, so that this can be turned into a little side table. And then that will take my £3 and turn it into like £45 with not much effort, and that will be a video at some point. Next is this. I think she charged me £1 for this, so just £1 for this box basically. So to build this, I could build this, but it would probably cost me more than £1 in scrap wood. It's got everything that you pretty much need. I can either turn it into a storage crate with no lid, or what I probably will do is get some pallet wood or something and just make a lid. And this is great for doing strawberry boxes, and I'll include a link to that video up above. But we'll probably do some sort of vintage sort of shipping crate box with it, with a stencil. And again, that'll be another video, but again, that was something that I was going to put back because I just thought it looked quite big. Next, onto my 3 favourite items. So we'll go in order, and I'll save my best for last. So I picked up this table for £4, such a sweet little table. It's been there a while, I think, and it opens up on the inside, so it's like a sewing box table. And I have a DIY idea for this already, and I was like, that's coming home with us. And Mike's like, what do you want that for? And I was like, well, I'm gonna do and he said, oh, of course, that makes more sense. So, you know, he doesn't always say it, but you know, he goes with me, and yeah, he sees where I'm going with that idea. Next, I have a set of books. So I went in there looking for big vintage books, and they did have them, but they weren't quite the style that I wanted. And in the end, I just spotted some of these and decided to put a collection together. So these are a collection of diaries and Bibles, and I just love them. They've got real leather covers. They're in really rough shape, but they'd be great for putting in pictures, for staging, that type of thing. But it's got 1910. Someone's handwritten this belongs to Helen Osborne in 1910. And then it was passed on through to Iris Osborne in 1920, and then Molly Osborne in 1942. And I just think that's absolutely amazing that that book is 100 years old, and I paid £1 for it. That's literally 1 penny per year plus. And then my final piece is this. This is a huge ironstone or porcelain plate. Again, it cost me about £1. It's got a big chip out of the corner. It was covered in dust. It's actually been cleaned. It's got crazing all over it, and I just absolutely love it. I've already placed it in the kitchen. It looks brilliant with all our chopping boards on it. It's got a old antique label on the back. It says G. Rushbrook Smithfield Limited. I can tell it's old just because of the type of label and the way it's been put on and the design of the label, but I just really like it. I think it looks absolutely brilliant and vintage in the kitchen, and it has to be hands down my most favourite thing I've even bought for a long time. Well, I bought the table. They're joint. I really like them both, actually. But yeah, this is my favourite thing I bought for the kitchen for a really long time. Let's say it that way. And that's what I got. So I paid £18 for the table. I paid £22 for everything else that you've seen amongst here. Let me know down in the comments below whether you think I got ripped off, whether you thought that was a good price, what items you would have picked up, anything you saw in the video earlier that you thought I might have missed. And let me know as well whether you'd be interested in this type of video on a more regular basis. And obviously I'll be taking some of these projects and turning them into content for the channel as well. So hope you enjoyed this. Don't forget, if you did like this video, please do consider subscribing, and I'll catch you on the next one.